to feel pain. I think it's actually 𝗏𝐿 pain. Oh boy. I think you need to pray to God. Take your vitamins. Is this MS Paint? Is this part? This is part of the program to rehabilitate rapists by letting them make art. I think that's what this is. Oh, so you're into gore, into vor. Okay, that's good. You know what? I think there's very little that can be said about this. I'm glad you're off the streets. I'm glad you're getting clean. I'm glad you're in a warm, safe place. And, you know, try not to draw too much. I would actually recommend more Dota gameplay for this client.
More Dota, more cough medicine.
Yeah.
What do I do whenever I get hit with a weird lack of motivation and apathy? I go to the gym, study constantly, and try to keep a healthy social life, but I still fall into these ruts that can break me.
I think what David Goggins, who's a personal hero of mine, but what that guy says about motivation is true. I think that if motivation is what fuels you, you're going to come up short. You have to have like discipline. The discipline is like taking the creative job and making sure that I'm in my seat working by a certain time every day, and I'm doing a stint of work that's a certain length of time. So that's what I would recommend. Like, force yourself to sit in a chair like as early as you can, like 9 a.m. Whatever, noon is fine if you're late, whatever, it doesn't matter. But as long as you're in a chair, you got 3.5 hours on, you take a lunch break, you got another 3.5 hours, and like sit there and force yourself to do something. And if you can't figure out what to do, you just sit there. Don't get sucked into YouTube. Don't look at other crap. Just like do it like it's a job. But motivation is, I'm never motivated. I'm not motivated at all. I haven't been motivated in years.
It's James.
TimmyOilPaints.com. I think, how old are you? Are you 30?
30.
It does for sure look like you have mastery over the medium. I think what you might need is a sketchbook that you might need to draw. I mean, you're in a tough spot because who's gonna, even if this was grandmaster level, who would buy it? That's the first problem. The second problem is you do have to put in more time. If that's what you want to do, you probably have to suffer for another 20 years. The compositions were not, it's not that they're not interesting in the sense of like, they're not exciting enough or something. It's just that they're not good. And the lighting, very close to being good. This is good. This is an interesting painting. Maybe paint more from imagination. These are my two favorite ones right here. These are from imagination. The ones that you do that are from real life are not good enough. They're very good. They're not good enough. Look into lighting for cinematography. Just this lighting is like, it's like almost, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost good, but it's not good. I would say, first of all, get a sketchbook and be drawing for 2 hours a day. I would say do more from imagination, because the ones that have value to me, this is a very strange painting. The color is very nice on this. It almost had, what's the Magritte? That painting you did from imagination makes me think of this, and that's a good thing. This, there's something good about this. The one you did from imagination. There's something good about this right here. I would look at, this would be a weird source of inspiration. I would look at Chris Van Allsburg books. Whoa. Not necessarily the Z was zapped, but I mean, if this is what you want to do, you're gonna have to put in some more work here. But I would look at these books, just buy some of these on eBay, and get a sketchbook, draw for 2 hours a day. I would buy some tungsten lights, some filmmaker lights, like a kit, a 15 or 1,000, a 600, and a 300. Just go on eBay. They're mad cheap. They're not. You don't need to pay $3,000 for it. Go on eBay, get 1,000, a 600, and a 300, and maybe a diffuser or some bounce boards. I'm sure you have that. But I would spend more time concentrating on the lighting, and I would take the paintings that you aspire to paint like, and like really look at them like a psycho. You've seen these Renaissance drawings that are like, this one's shit, this is a bad one. But drawings like this, where there's perspective points and it looks almost like a computer made it, but it's a human being not using rulers, not using tools other than like string. Get good at drawing until you can draw that, because like the thing that is amateurish about this is this aqueduct or bridge thing in the background. The way that this line is not straight and it kind of sags right here, and it's just not. It's something that's not straight, but it should be straight. Now I don't mean ruler straight. I mean straight with your hand. You should get good enough with your hands that you're able to draw almost architecturally without a ruler.
Do you know Phil Hale? It's like abstract stuff, but some of it I kind of like.
Oh yeah, wow.
He does weird motion stuff, like the green on the bottom left.
Wow, look at this
car.
guy.
Yeah, like whatever that is.
I get this shit all day. I love vaporwave. I love Trump. I love the racism. Okay, but it's not. This is a dead end, and it doesn't. The thing about design is that most people can't even lay out plain black text on plain white paper, and they're going so extremely hard with every video effect that you can put on your computer. Like all this shit. Get this shit out of my fucking face. Learn how to lay out text, plain black text on white paper. Learn how margins and kerning and like line weight, line height, learn what these things do before you start putting all this slop, trippy visuals.
Bad art is like people just smashing blend modes.
Yeah,
on each other.
it's like button mashing in a fighting game when you don't know what to do. Oh man. No, because the thing is, it's good, but it needs more.
Yeah.
Like it needs, and this is like, I think this is hand animation.
Yeah.
And I was saying, oh man, because I looked at the timeline and I saw that we're a minute in, and it's 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
So he's got to add more hand animation to a fucking 5 minute long thing. It probably needs lyrics, and I think you already have this style going. Look up Dr. Katz, the wiggly line style. That's what I would do the lyrics in, maybe. But like this thing is cool. It sits on screen by itself too long. You need to pack it with more shit. And this part right here, the clean edges is not working right here. You should go with the lo-fi VHS stuff. You should keep it that way. This is overdoing it 10%. So this tape damage effect, I would much prefer that it was real tape damage, but if you're using a filter here, so just back it off 10%, make it a little less obvious. Add more shit in. This clean line shit's not working. You got to put more texture on this. You got to put the VHS effect back on here, or some sort of film texture or something. This is very clearly roughen edges, or a similar effect, an effect that does the same thing.
It says it is real tape damage.
That's good then. Anybody that sees this rough and edges thing is gonna think about Photoshop. It doesn't matter whether you used rough and edges to make it, but just undo that and put the tape damage over this part too. This part's a little too abstract. It's a little too gibberishy. There's not enough like of a thing that's like a subject here. Like I see the stripes pattern and the sort of shapes that are flowing around. It's cool, but a music video you want to have like a. You could just make a 3D thing floating right here in the middle of it, like to have a subject, or lyrics. You could put lyrics in there too, and don't do every lyric. Just do the lines that like hit the hardest, and it could just be fragments of a line, like "he is that dude" or whatever. It doesn't have to be the whole lyric. It probably shouldn't be. Get in more. Listen, animation takes so much time. Get more footage like this and use this for the parts where it's like. This thing dragging too long, just speed this part up and then use real footage. This is cool texturally. I wish I could see more that it was driving by strip malls or whatever. Like it's a little too much like a texture, not enough like a visual thing I can look at. This is very nice. That's dope. Hate that film gate effect. Hate that. This is cool. Needs a subject. Needs lyrics. A guy's head. A 3D object in the center. Something. This is very cool. Going from black and white for 4 minutes, then to color. That's very cool. Switch the shot here. Put in 3 shots for this one. So pick 2 other shots with color and put them in there. But this is a good video. If it sucked, I wouldn't have picked it apart. If it sucked, I would have been like, oh, you did good job. You could push it further though if you want to. Okay. One thing I really don't like is when people do handwriting fonts or handwriting, but you can tell that it was done digitally. The way to do it is to do it on a piece of paper with marker or with spray paint against the wall, and then photograph it and mat it out so that it's on transparency. Like you can tell, it's just you can visualize a Wacom tablet, someone adjusting the brush sensitivity in Photoshop. That's one you can do right now that doesn't require any additional skill building or practice. You can actually just go get a Sharpie or a fat tip marker or spray can, etc., and bring this into your practice right now. Make your stuff look 10 times better. Because this like pseudo handwriting, it looks terrible. Another thing, it's tempting to throw all this glitch stuff on, especially when it's, you know, a preset, like it's someone else's video Hive thing. You'll eventually come across somebody who is also an amateur editor, amateur graphics person who has seen these same presets. Like, this is just the pack that you buy or download for free. It doesn't require any like. We'll use this in edits to save time, but this is not like an artful thing. You don't want to use that in something that you'd call art. Composition is okay. You got this sort of crammed. I see it's Mondo megabits right here. I kind of like the busyness of it. That's okay. That's pretty cool. And the aspect ratio too. You've got these 4-5 things in the same aspect ratio. That's kind of neat looking. I think another thing is white text on black. It never looks. It looks like cum.
Yeah.
Like when people do, and especially if people do like on a t-shirt, like they'll do like drippy white text, like a metal logos.
Yeah.
You tried to Photoshop a cum shot or something. Like it's just not a good look. So pick yellow or do some different colors next time. I would also say that like when you're doing technical stuff, like up here, this sort of circuit board type thing, you want to be, you know, neater with your line work, because it doesn't look good when there's this line that's when it's not rectangular and precise. It's good that it's hand drawn and not an Illustrator or vector thing, but it's just not neat enough. I think you got to get better at drawing. Like this watch right here, get better at drawing. That's another one. It's like drawing with pen and paper is like the equivalent of being able to play keys and like read music.
Yeah.
Like if you're almost any type of musician, that's always an asset to have. Doesn't mean that everything you do is going to have piano, keyboard, and reading music notes, but it's just like a good thing to be able to do that you can build off of and do other things artistically with it. When it comes to visual art, drawing it underlies so much stuff that you should, even if you have no aspiration to draw, even if you're just doing graphic design, you should know how to draw. You should be good at drawing. You really should. Before you start throwing all this shit on, neon colors, glitch effects, high contrast, black and white, bold aspect ratio, like a tall thing that's 3:1, 3 tall, 1 wide, like all these different things that make your stuff stick out stylistically. Before you get to that point, what you really got to do also is you have to get a grasp of the basics. So the margins in between elements here, just sort of the basic, like the way that your eye flows around, and if you squint your eyes, the vague shapes that everything makes. Is it Herman Meyer? It's someone Meyer.
Justin with a 15 says, I drew all my NFTs with my finger on my iPhone. I wasn't even trying at first. That's pretty good for finger painting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that wasn't bad.
Well, put your phone
I've seen
down.
much worse. Yeah.
Put your phone down and try, bro. People do this thing where they dip their feet in jokingly. Or you just go balls out, just make the thing that you want to make and be sincere about it. Look up Designers Republic, not to ape his whole style because everybody's trying to steal that style nowadays, but the idea of multiple interpretations of your logo that are very diverse and weird but fit in the same sort of pastiche of flavors, I guess you would say. You can do one logo 10 different ways. That's a good one. The cigarette pack's cool. The Miller logo flip's cool. I actually dig this. I think this is cool right here. I think you're kind of, I don't know how far back this goes. Like if from this image right here to this image right here is 1 month, then cool, because you were in this kind of spirit for a month. But if this right here and then from goes back to this right here is like 6 months, you're spending too much time on one thing. You're not being prolific enough. You're not being productive enough. So that's what I would say about that. I like this vibe of like convenience store vibe, and the Miller, is that a Miller light bottle or what is
High
it?
Life.
Miller High Life like logo flip. That's cool. Like a sort of high tech low life kind of thing, or just a highfalutin low life thing. I think that's cool. It's little details like. See how this has a hard edge and it's this kind of metallic blue, and then this up here has a very soft edge, like you scaled it, like it's been scaled up with the, it's not nearest neighbor scaling, it wasn't made at that resolution. That type of shit bothers me. It's like the little details. Like I want everything to match. Like right here, the home and the shop are a periwinkle blue. They're a typeface that's different from this typeface. They're not all caps. This is all caps. This is a different typeface from this down here. 1, 2, 3 different types of blue. One's metallic. This is like a periwinkle cloud blue. This is more like a navy slate, darker blue.
What happens when you hit the shop?
Let's hit the shop page. And then this layout is like trash. This I like. If the website was junk on purpose, like this add to cart button is ridiculous. I would, by the way, our website's not good either. We didn't do it right either. But if you were doing a junk on purpose interface, that would be cool. I think this stuff can stay. Like try making it in all caps so it matches this right here. I hate these little arrow buttons, especially when they're not necessary. But interface like this, I know that's the default thing for whatever app you use to make the shop, but I fucking hate that. But as far as the products go, I think it's cool. I don't really get to spend too much time doing creative stuff. I think I do creative stuff for like 1 hour a week, and the rest of the week is like answering emails, organizing projects, paying people, and calling silly billy lawyers. And my one piece of advice for anyone with a visual art inclination is get real. And get a life, because read the tea leaves in the water in the teacup. Computers are making art now, so it's all if you have any hope of making money, you either have to be very special and extremely hardworking and know what you're doing, which most people who make art are not, or you're going to be whatever job you thought you were hoping to get is going to be replaced by a computer. Any logo for your local coffee shop, any cartoon character storyboarding for the new Silly Billy animation on Adult Swim, like all this stuff it's being shipped out to Koreans, being shipped out to South America. There's maybe like 20 American storyboarders that like have work. They don't get paid that well. Like it's not something to aim for, and all that shit's going to be computerized. Anything that can be computerized will be. But the one thing that they are going to sort of dematerialize and zap into outer space is financial white collar stuff. A lot of financial white collar stuff, and a lot of like business logistics ordering type problems, and art and design, like low end design is done. Like you're gonna go to myfreelogo.com and the computer's gonna make something way better in 1 millisecond than what graphic designer could ever have made. Art's a dead end. Find a different hustle. Do something else. It's a dead end. I know you love it and it's like you're expressing yourself and you're so creative. I felt the same way. I thought I was a special, creative, amazing guy. But it's a dead end, bro. I'm sorry to tell you that. Unless you're real elite and you're making something special that people care about, like a graphic novel or something. Like you got to find a niche to tap into if that's what you want to pursue really bad. But the economics of it are not favorable. I wouldn't recommend to a friend or anybody that I care about to pursue art. It's a dead end, bad move. How do you like that?
That's the hard truth.